For this episode and in this video, we will be talking about the part 2 of the 3-part series for strategic planning 2025. So part 1, we talk about determining what you want for your business and your personal life. And part 2 today, we're going to talk about setting realistic goals, okay? Realistic goal setting. What I'm going to say next may ruffle some feathers, especially those coaches who teach about manifestation. And I am not going to dispute what they are teaching does not work. It works 100%. But when they are promoting about manifestation, I think they sort of left out the in-between, how the manifestation can happen. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. When you are setting goals, those manifestation coach, and I'm going to tell you the same thing as well, because I used to also get coaching for this area of my life. And I will tell you that it works. But again, there are critical details that are not normally shared in a free social media platform where they will give you the exact step-by-step on how to make the manifestation work. So hopefully you will be able to put 2 and 2 together after today's session, okay? When we are setting goals, we want to really not have any boundaries. We want to be able to dream big, all right? Now, the dreaming part, some people may have challenges allowing themselves to dream big because they have been so jaded by life and they are not in an environment or in a community where they have first-hand account or experience or know anyone who have achieved what they themselves want in life or what they have manifested, okay, or manifesting. So they don't know why they need to spend the time dreaming big when they don't have any sort of evidence to prove that it can be achieved. And it could also be the programming that they grew up in, their parents telling them, stop dreaming, start working, money doesn't grow on trees, you know, you have to work hard and things don't just happen, and stop being a dreamer. And you are taught to think small and not aspire to be more than what you think or the people around you think that you can achieve. Therefore, you are limiting yourself, okay? I want you to listen to this last part that I just said and ask yourself, if you are dreaming or setting goals that are limiting yourself to achieve something bigger because you have been told that what you really want is not achievable. There's no evidence to support that it's achievable. Therefore, why are you wasting your time thinking and dreaming and setting goals that have not been achieved by anybody? All right? That is a big difference between setting realistic goals versus setting goals that are practical, okay? Practical goals. I'm going to label it as practical goals, as goals that are limiting yourself to achieve something bigger because it's practical. That means it can be reached, okay? It can be reached because there's evidence to support that it had been reached before, and you probably have achieved something like that before, or maybe just a little bit far away from that practical goal, so you know it's not going to take a lot more of you to achieve that. That's what we call a practical goal. You're actually just pushing yourself a little, or maybe not even pushing yourself, and you're being practical. Realistic goals is more than just practical. It is beyond practical, but it is the in-between between practical and being called a dreamer, okay? With no evidence to support whatever you want, and you dream so big, and people start saying things to you to bring you down to earth. So for me, I like to have a good balance. So setting realistic goals for me are goals that are not only just practical, but it pushes me, and I will be able to find resources and support that will push me from practical to realistic. Put it this way. So the in-between, okay? And realistic goals can be identified as, I think for the part 1 of the series, I talk about that is what we call a goal that you want, or target, okay? A target goal. And then there is the stretch goal. And then that is what we call the reach for the stars goal. The realistic goal is the stretch goal. It is not the target goal. The target goal, unless, you know, for me, but for you, you may put your realistic goal as the target goal, and the target goal could be what you have never achieved before and is really stretching you. So for this context, I'm going to explain to you my concept of goal setting. So goal setting has got the target goal, the stretch goal, and the reach for the stars goal. Okay, in my context, in my own experience, that's how I set goals. Now, my target goal is what, for me, is the practical goal. The practical goal that I don't really have to work super hard to get it, which I probably had achieved it before, or just need to push a little bit more. Give you one example. If last year I made 100K, let's just say, then this year, my target goal, I'm just going to say, I'm going to increase it by 10-15%. So this year, I want to make $110,000 to $115,000, which is not a big stretch, okay? So that is my target goal. That is my practical goal. Now, a realistic goal would be a little bit more stretch. So I will be like, okay, last year I made 100K. My target goal, or my practical goal this year, will be to increase by 10 to 15%. My stretch goal will be to increase by 25% to 35%. So the numbers will look like this. So this year, my target goal, or my practical goal, will be $115,000, $110,000 to $115,000. My realistic goal will be $125,000 to $135,000. My reach for the stars goal would be $150,000 or $135,000 and above. That is a 35% growth, which is a really very big stretch from business term to grow like that for small business, okay? So that's how I set my goal. Now, when you're setting your realistic goal, it is pushing you more than whatever you're doing, but not pushing you so much to the extent that you feel that, oh my God, I'm never ever going to make it. Okay. So I'm not going to set a goal that I'm going to make $1 million this year, because if I made 100,000 last year, okay, then to make $1 million this year, if I say that it's a realistic, how am I going to make it realistic? It's a $900,000 gap, right? But if I make $100,000 last year, and this year I want to make 25 to 135,000, I haven't achieved that before. Again, this is just an example. I mean, I have already way surpassed that for my income. But to make it a simple comparison using this type of numbers, okay? then it's not what I have done before, but if I have achieved something that is close to it, I think I can push some more. That's what we call a realistic goal. All right. So now let's talk about what are the things to consider when you're setting realistic goal. Why do you want to set realistic goal and not reach for the stars goal? Okay. And not practical goals. Because if you set practical goals, you're holding yourself to a lower standard. Now, that's not a bad thing. As long as once you reach your practical goal or your target goal, you're ready to push and not just stay there and chill. Well, you can, but I'm talking in a mindset that you are ready to blow the numbers out of the water, okay? As long as you are ambitious to want to push some more, that's okay. All right. So in this case, when you are setting your realistic goals, it's good to have a practical goal first, or the target goal, aka the target goal, because it gives you the momentum of winning. Because it doesn't stretch you too much, just stretch you a little bit from what you used to do in the past. It just stretches you a little bit by 10 to 15%, and you're used to winning. And you don't have to learn new skills and develop a new mindset and new belief, because you have already been there, or you were very close to it last year. Okay. And you know that, maybe just do a little bit more, I can reach that. So it doesn't stretch you that much. And when you are executing strategies, tactics, activities, it is not a steep of a climb to get to the target goal or practical goal. So I want you to build the habit of winning, and action taken wins. Okay. So now we're going to reward you for taking action just to move a little bit more to get the 10% increase, 15% increase. And once you gain the success, once you're used to winning, you have this confidence boost, and you will be like, I got this. I can do this. So now pushing you to make another 10 more percent or 15 more percent, you're not draining your tank. You are draining it just a little bit. So you don't feel like you are wiped out or burn out, because you will not push that hard from the very beginning. So we are pacing. We're pacing you. We're pacing your stamina. We're pacing your endurance, your resilience, and your belief, okay? We're slowly building your belief that you can do this. That's why I set the goal this way, okay? So now the practical questions to ask yourself is the income you want, which is the step one, which is the part one series, the income you want versus the amount of time, energy, and money you want to invest to get that income. I'm going to repeat this question. When you have set that goal, you are going to ask yourself this question. The income you say you want to make in the part one of the 3-part series, how are you going to achieve that income, taking into consideration the time, the energy, and the money you currently have that you want to invest to get the outcome? So now we have to evaluate, what do we have right now that I can readily tap into and use that as a vehicle to go make the money? Time, energy, and money, okay? That you have right now that is going to go into play to go make that money that you say you want. So when you're setting your financial goal, you want to take into consideration, to break it all down, you want to take into consideration the amount of time you want to work on growing your business, correct? You can only make more money by a few ways. Sell a lot or sell at a very high price. So you can make a lot of money by selling in quantity at a relatively low price, or you can make a lot of money by selling less quantity but at a very high price. And you can make a lot of money if you can sell the product, a lot of the product or service at a very high price. Now, the third one is going to take time to master, to create an offering, a service that you can sell a lot of it at a very high price. If you are a new entrepreneur, you may not be at that level yet to craft your offer where you will be able to attract many high-paying clients and you charge a lot of money for that. So how do we make the money for the business? Either by selling to the mass market at a relatively moderate or low price. So you're making money by quantity, or you are super targeted. You only sell to a small market, but your messaging, your marketing is so refined that you only speak to a certain audience who can afford to pay you. And when they pay you, selling 5 units, you can make 100,000 versus having to sell 100 units to make the 100,000. Okay, so you pick your poison. All right, but I would suggest if you're just starting your business, don't go too crazy with your pricing, because you will start doubting yourself if you're not getting sales. Am I priced too high? And then you start doubting yourself, which is not good at all. So I don't mind you selling at a lower price as long as you still make a profit, and then increase your price frequently in small increments. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, when I'm making this goal, this financial goal, this realistic financial goal, how much time do I have? So we talk about how much time you have to invest. How much time do I have to invest in growing the business, in marketing the business, talking to leads, sales outreach, refining offers? How much time do you have, okay, to work on that marketing message, to work on promoting your business, right? All the sales outreach activities, either social media or in person, okay? And then you have to also evaluate your current stage in your life, okay? So your current lifestyle, all right? Do you have many obligations that will take time away for you, that will take time away from you working on your business? So when we are evaluating, you know, the main objection that a lot of business owners tells me that they are unable to grow their business is because they don't have the time. They always talk about the time, then they talk about money. Okay, I don't have the money to invest and stuff like that. So let's talk about the time first. Tackle the biggest obstacle. When you're asking yourself, okay, I want to set this goal of $100,000. How much time do I need to invest in growing my business to get to $100,000? It all comes down to the math of how much does your service cost, right? How many units do you have to sell in order to reach 100K? And if you're selling your thing at $2,000, okay, per service, let's just say 2,500, just make it easy. So 100,000 divided by 2,500, you have to sell 40 units, okay? 40 units, and you have 52 weeks, okay? So let's just make it easy, 40 units, and you have 12 months to sell. So each month you have to sell 3.5. Let's just round it up to like 4 sales, okay? You have to sell 4 sales, that's $10,000. Or you can sell 2 and then just upsell them to get to the 10,000. That's the way to get to the math, right? So you have to ask yourself, if I were to have to close 4 sales, okay, a month, how much sales activities, marketing activities do I have to do in order to get enough leads for me to talk to, and then to be able to close the amount of leads to get to 10K? Now, if you're a new business owner, you don't have any data to support you, to analyze your data, to know what is your closing rate, okay? What is your outreach? You have no data, so you're going in blind, right? So my advice for you is at this time is to start tracking. If on average, the closing rate, okay, when we talk about closing rate, That means how many leads you talk to and how many you close. If let's say you talk to 10 leads and you close 5 out of 10, your closing rate is 50%, which is really good. And what can affect the closing rate? Your marketing message. That means if you're talking to the right people, okay, who already know what you offer, how much it costs to hire you, and they already know why they want to work with you, then when they come on a call with you, they already know all this. How much it costs to hire you, what you can do for them, and why they want to work with you. They already know. Then the probability of you closing that lead is very high. But because you are a new business owner, and some of you who may have started the business for a while, but you still can't get this step right, then your closing rate could be 20%, could be 10%. So when I was doing cold call sales, out of 100 phone calls I make, 10% will actually listen to what I have to say. And out of that 10%, if they have listened to what I have to say and there's an interest, I probably will close 1 or 2. So it's an 80-20 rule. So I probably close 20%. So if you want to be super conservative, because you are a new business owner, and for those of you who are no longer new, you have some experience under you, you should expect at least a 40 to 50%, sometimes even 70%. But 70%, that means, your price could be a little low, so you need time to increase your price. Okay, so let's aim for 40 to 50%, but start off at 20%, 10 to 20%. So you have to start thinking, okay, that means I need to be able to speak to 100 people. Okay, so 100 people needs to be aware of what I sell, who I help, how I help, and how much it costs. Out of that 100 people, I need to continue to nurture the relationship so that they will book a call with me or consultation with me. So I get 10 phone calls a month. And out of that 10 phone calls, if I have done a great job, I will be able to close 2, right? So that's $5,000. But we have done the math that you need 10,000. So you need to double the numbers. That means you need to talk to 200 people. All right. You need to have 200 people with eyeballs seeing what you are marketing online, or you go to a networking event. There needs to be some form of an exposure of what you have to offer and how much it costs to hire you, and the results that you can deliver, the services you provide, and why they need to hire you. These are the key points that you need to highlight in your marketing message. Okay? So you need to speak to 200, have exposure to 200 people who actually will pay attention to you. And then you need to nurture the relationship of that 200 people who actually engage with you on social media, heart, like, whatever, and then try to book 20 calls. And then out of that 20 calls, you want to be able to close 4 sales. Okay? Easier said than done. I'm not going to lie to you. That's why this is what we call sweat equity. Time. You need to invest time. If you don't have time, especially at this current stage in your life, that you have to care for a sick family member, you have small ones at home, you have a full-time job, you really don't have that much time to actually work on your business. You probably will have 30 hours on top of your 40 hours week that you are working, 30 hours to work on your business. So you have to start thinking, do I really have the time to do this sweat equity marketing to get to the $100,000 that I want to make? So maybe the $100,000 happens to be your reach for the stars goal. So you can adjust your goal accordingly. And once you collect enough data, just keep moving your goals and keep moving your actions. Okay? Adjust your actions to meet your goals. Don't adjust your goals to meet your actions. At the very beginning, sure, because you don't have any data. But now you have the data, you have this realistic conversation with yourself, and you look at your lifestyle. Oh, I don't have the time. Now, let's look at, okay, do you have the money? Money buys speed, okay? You know that you don't have the time to do all this, right? But you don't want to adjust your goal. So now you're thinking, oh, I have a full-time job. I actually can have some working capital that I can use a VA or an internal salesperson or social media person to help me to do all those outreach, to post more, to set appointments, right? All those things. So now, or to even pay for ads, or to be on a paid leads platform. So now you don't have to work so much sweat equity to go get yourself these leads, okay? So now you're using money to buy speed. You're using money to compensate for the lack of time. So at this point in time, you have to ask yourself, where are you in your life right now? Do you have the time to actually use sweat equity and don't spend a dime to get the amount of leads that you need to talk to in order to close the sale, okay, to get to your financial goal? Or do I have some money that I can spare? I will still do some work, but do I have the money that I can spare so that I can speed up the process a little and reach out to a lot more people, spend some money on Facebook ads, maybe spend $400 to $500 a month on Facebook ads and reach out to thousands of people? So instead of you trying to get to social media, hoping the algorithm is going to help you to get to thousands of eyeballs, you know, Google ads, so Google, you know, all those things. So you have to start thinking what makes sense, right? If you're not in a hurry, then take your sweat equity that you don't have any obligation at home, okay, or at work or personal life that will take you away from building your business. Then sure, sweat equity all the way. But if you don't have the time, then you have to think of other resources. Can I spend some money to get somebody to do it, right? Sometimes even when you have the time, but it is not your personality to do all this outreach yourself. So you don't have the right energy, okay? You're saying that, what? I'm just a designer, I'm a planner, I'm a decorator, I'm not a salesperson. So then your marketing will suck because you don't feel it. So maybe you may have the time, but your energy is not there. You don't feel that you want to do it. When you don't feel like you want to do it, nothing's going to happen, okay? Even though you have the time. Then consider getting help. And you have to make sacrifices to make that money, okay? Or save up that money to get the help, all right? So at this time, you also have to start thinking, okay, if you have a lot of obligation in your life, all right? And if you so decide to hire someone to help you for some parts of the marketing job, because that's the most tedious part, okay? The most tedious part of the business, which is marketing, getting leads, all right? Refining your offers, refining your audience, refining your marketing message. So you're going to have to ask yourself, okay, all these obligations I have in my life, personal life, all right, and also in my business life, what can I automate? What can I delegate? Or what can I delete? This is the one of those things that I will always remember when I paid my business coach, okay, to grow my business, to help me grow my business, to see things that I don't see, is she always asks, in your life, business and personal, what can you automate? What can you delegate? What can you delete? So automation will come in your business, right? Is there something that you can automate so that you don't have to be in front of the computer all the time? What can be automated? That means booking a call, right? Is there a process or flow of communication that when people inquire about something, and then you can automatically send out a proposal or auto response, and then they can book a call? So instead of you having to go back and forth trying to get hold of that person, to book an appointment, to call, all those things, what can you automate? And then what can you delegate? So which part of the marketing of your business, or the business in general, like if you don't have the time to reconcile your invoices, you don't have time to reconcile your books, you don't have time to respond to leads, right? All those things, or you don't have time to create a proposal. Can you delegate that to a VA? You have to think big picture, okay? You cannot be doing everything. If you have the funds, delegate, and reserve your time and energy for more productive activities that brings money in. So what can you delegate? And in your personal life, do you have to be the one cooking all the time? Do you have to be the one cleaning everything in the house? Do you have to be the one who's picking up the kids all the time? Can you work with some mothers to do sharing carpool? Can you have your husband pick up one of the child or pick up the children on one of the days? Can you order a meal service so that you have time to actually work on your business and not have to cook? Can you have a housekeeper who can clean the house that save you 4 hours of your time? So these are the things you want to ask yourself, what can I delegate out? Okay. And what can I delete? Do you really have to do this every single day? This activity, is it necessary? Right? Is this part, like what in your life can you just be done with? You don't want to do it anymore. So just take it out. All right. So when you are thinking about all this, setting a realistic goal, how much money you want to make, you have to start thinking, do I have the time or the money to work on resources and activities that is going to get me the business that will pay me to get to my financial goal? All right. So you have to start thinking, do you have to find, I think ultimately, the most important thing, when the next thing after people say, I don't have time to promote my business, the next thing they always say is, I don't have the money. Okay. So you have to ask yourself, do I have the financial resources to outsource and to pay for visibility like ads? And do I really have the time to do it myself? Do I want to do it myself? And the answer is no and no. And you say you don't have the money. Is it easier to go find that money by either saving or work extra shift, make sacrifices, than to make that time and to set yourself up to do the marketing activities? Which one is the path of least resistance? And I will tell you, the path of least resistance is to actually make the sacrifice of eating out less, buying less crap, saving up more as working capital, or picking up the extra shift. Okay? Because trying to find the time to do something that you don't like, no, it's a big, 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 big sabotage to your trajectory. So go find that money. It's so much easier to go find that money to pay for help, okay, to pay for visibility, than to go find that time and the energy to do it if you don't like doing this part of the business growth. All right, so this is a conversation that you need to have. But if you're a brand new entrepreneur, you don't know if you like it or not. So you want to learn. You want to learn to see, oh, what do I need to do? What other activities do I need to do to promote myself? So because you haven't done this before, you can't even say whether you like it, you like to do it or not. Are you good at it or not? Do you want to make the time to do it or not? So you have no idea. So I will always suggest, try to do it yourself first, give it a go, have a taste of it, and then evaluate the results. Now, let's also be realistic that don't expect results to happen so quickly, especially when you're a newbie and you have never done this before. You never built a business before, never done any marketing outreach before, you have never done any sales conversation before. This is a learning curve. Okay, so be lenient and give yourself some grace. Okay, in order to get better at all this, you got to have a lot of practice. And not just practice, but taking the time to audit what you have done right and what you can do better. Okay, so you need to audit your results. You need to audit what you're doing to see, oh, what's working, and then let's continue to do better at that. Let's continue to do more of that. Or I tried this and it didn't work. And then you not only just have to assess the results, you have to assess how do you feel when you're doing all that. Because if you feel like crap, you have to force yourself to do it. How can you continue to build sustainability for something that you know you have to do it constantly, but you hate doing that? So you have to assess how you feel, your emotions, your energy when you're executing all these business marketing activities. And if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But you can only say that after you have tried it. You cannot say, I'm not a good salesperson until you have tried and tried and tried and tried. And you have tried for at least 6 months of having enough sales conversation. You just can't do it. Okay? No, I will never say you cannot do it. You will definitely be able to do it, but it comes at a cost. The cost is your emotional drain. It takes away your belief and your motivation, and you need that to build the other aspect of the business. So maybe you're not the best salesperson. Maybe hire somebody else to talk to a potential client, and you stay behind the scene. You be the creative director, the designer, okay? You be the one who paint the big picture and get people excited, and then hire somebody to close the lead. So these are the things you need to think about, all right? But you have to first know what to do and whether you're doing it right, or is there a better way to do it? There are different ways to market yourself. You have to discover what are the ways to do it. So at this point, if you are a newbie, you'll be like, I don't know what to do. How am I supposed to know what am I supposed to do and when to do it and what to do? And how do I know if I'm doing it correctly? So at this point, for part 1, I said that if you don't know what entrepreneurship is all about, all right, I talk about my book, The Unstoppable Eventrepreneur. All right, it gives you an overview of what it's like to have a business, to build a multiple 6-figure profit business using my own example, right? I gave you the strategies, the tactics, and also the emotional roller coaster, how to handle those and how to come out thriving. But if we're talking about at this point, which is setting realistic goals, how do we get to there through sales and marketing and get leads and close the leads? Now we're talking about doing the work, okay? Now we're talking about strategies and tactics, 100%, measuring your sales matrix. Exactly like how I walk you through, how many people you need to talk to, right? And then how many you need to nurture so that you can book a call, and then how many can you close? You need to track your sales data. So if this is something that, well, this is not if, this is for sure you need to learn, okay? You have to learn about how to market yourself. You have to learn how to qualify leads. You have to learn how to sell. And you have to learn financial, how to craft your offer at a price point that aligns with your belief in yourself to sell that thing, so that you can confidently market that service and not decide to sell and then give discount because you're so afraid that people will not buy, right? Pricing, how to create a portfolio, a marketing portfolio, all right? How to market yourself, the different forms of marketing, and how to qualify leads and how to close leads. These are all the strategies. Then your next best step to take at a very low risk of investment of time and money is to check out our 24-course bundle. I created a 24-course bundle that you can consume in less than 7 hours, okay? And each of these courses are probably 30 minutes long. Okay, some are 1 hour when it's a role play. Video tutorials with checklist, Excel sheet, PDF to go along with the video. So if you are a new budding eventrepreneur, you're thinking to start a business, but you don't know where to start, you need the strategies and the tactics, I will encourage you to check out the show notes, okay? What this course offers at only $24, all right? And a short period of time for you to consume. I mean, you have lifetime access, but you only need a short period of time to get all this information. And you can always refer it back, all right? I would suggest for you to go check it out because it will guide you step by step on creating your offer, pricing it correctly, to marketing your offer, getting leads, qualify leads, and closing leads. And even talk about legalities, business legalities, and mindset and productivity, all in this little tight package, okay? So this part here, part 2, is extremely important because we are really taking actions. Part 1 is setting the stage. Part 2 is taking actions. And once you learn what you need to do, all right, what you need to do, then you start to evaluate your results. And if you are already in business, but you're not getting any momentum, this course will help you to refine what is wrong. So you need to evaluate, am I doing this? So all these courses in there are so straightforward that you really don't have many questions that you will have to ask after you watch it, okay? It's exactly like how I teach you here. Now, when you take actions, you have data. And if the result is not what you want, okay, this is a stage, okay? Part 2, this is a stage in your business. You're super excited. You have already set the stage. You're super excited to take action. And after 3 months in, 6 months in, and you're not seeing the results that you want, this is where all these internal thoughts come in. And you start to question yourself, can I do this? Can I really make it? Right? What am I doing wrong? And you start to have negative self-talk. Okay? And that's why I say this is where people will just quit if you're not in the right community or you don't have the right guidance because you're doing all the wrong things. You did not invest in talking to business owners who have been through and done that and have thrived. You did not invest in courses that can clearly instruct you on how to do this. You do not have the discipline. Okay, you haven't learned the discipline to implement consistently, and you are not in a community that encourage you to get up each time you fail and be consistent and be disciplined. So all these factors are going to affect your results. And in this case, here, you will have to check in with yourself. And I'll tell you that don't give up. This is to be expected, okay? This is to be expected. You just have to go through this and continue to take the actions and refine your actions, okay? The key here is refining, tracking, refining, consistency. Consistency, tracking, refining. Easier said than done, right? That's why people are inside our life support community where they get on co-working sessions, they talk it out, or they put inside the Facebook group asking, I don't know what is going on, what's wrong, I'm feeling so rejected, and then we help them, we boost them up, okay? So it's extremely important that you have a blueprint. That's why we talk about the 24 course bundle that is going to guide you, and also to have a supportive community to guide you along so that you don't feel so alone, that you are not dumb, that you are not a failure. This is to be expected, okay? Now, go to the show notes, check out the 24 course bundle and have a clear idea what the bundle offers you. And if this is what you need to start and implement, and this is what you need to refine, get the 24 course bundle because it's a very low risk investment and financial investment and time investment. Okay, so part 3, we will be talking about when things don't go as planned, right? Part 2, your emotions will go up and down, up and down, up and down. Part 3 is a continuation of the roller coaster ride where I'm going to be teaching you how do you manage those emotions? That what happens when things don't go as planned? What we're going to do? Do we just give up? And how do we find the strength, the motivation, the inspiration to get up and just go for it? Continue to go for it. So I'll be explaining you the whole process for the part 3 of the 3-part series of Strategy Planning 2025. And I'm so looking forward to that particular session. All right, I'll look forward to speak with you again next week.